to realize its mission. Inbar is active across different fields, such as environmental protection, poverty alleviation, and livelihood development. Inbar supports scientific and technological innovation, the cultivation and expansion of existing resources, downstream processing and utilization, and the promotion and use of a wide variety of diversified products, as well as showcasing the positive contribution to the development of a green economy, poverty alleviation, and livelihood improvement. Cultural products and heritage can enhance quality of life and protect, enhance, and expand bamboo and rattan culture. Inbar is an observer to the United Nations General Assembly and has recently achieved great success during its 20th anniversary celebrations and 2018's Global Bamboo and Rattan Congress. Heads of state from China, Ethiopia, Ecuador, Colombia, Cameroon, and Madagascar, as well as heads of high-level agencies of the United Nations, expressed support for these events in different forms or congratulated Inbar for its increasing international visibility and influence. Looking towards the future, Inbar has formulated a development plan for 2015 to 2030. We will work with member states and international partners to help achieve the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and align with plans for the Belt and Road Initiative and South-South cooperation. Inbar will forge a unique path to make a real positive difference and work together towards a more equitable and greener world.
Warm greetings from UIA. I am José Luis Cortés, President of the International Union of Architects. For the last 73 years, the UIA alone has represented the world's architects, now estimated to around 3.2 million. The UIA unites architects from more than 100 countries and territories by the strength of diversity and partnership across the 5 regions of the UIA. At the COP21-24, when the UIA made calls in action to halt climate change, governments, civil society, and the private sector have recognized that the built environment is a contributor to climate change. UN declared year 2021 as the Climate Action Year. We have to implement climate action for cities in terms of climate adaptation, mitigation, and response. Coupled with the pandemic situation, we are examining closely the immediate and pressing future of our built environment and human settlements. By 2030, we have to implement the Sustainable Development Goals. To achieve changes in next 8 years is a global challenge. In recognition of the urgency of the situation, the UIA has formed an independent commission on sustainable development goals named UIA SDG Commission to influence architects towards sustainable, resilient, climate-friendly, and carbon-neutral design. To facilitate the challenge, we accept UN Habitat's new urban agenda as our own, and we endorse United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and we pledge to achieve carbon neutrality in our communities and buildings. The UIA acknowledges the efforts of all stakeholders of built environment to make change. Similarly, governments, civil society, researchers, and the private sector can help secure public demand for sustainable solutions and investment. To initiate new solutions, we have to explore new partnerships. For this, we look to Inbar, with its expertise assisting governments, businesses, and local communities to identify new and innovative uses for bamboo and rattan as a building material across more than 50 countries in global South Asia, Africa, and Latin America. The UIA is delighted to work with Inbar to promote resilient design through sharing the design ideas of bamboo architecture. Lastly, on the occasion of the COP26, I pledge to the architects of the world to acknowledge that using the time-tested traditional technology, innovative ideas, and in the passive implementation process, there is a window of opportunity to shape our built environment and the cities in a way that reduces overall energy consumption and greenhouse gas emissions. Thank you very much.
Bamboo and rattan, pride of nature, friend of mankind. With the aim to protect, cultivate, and exploit the world's bamboo and rattan resources, the International Bamboo and Rattan Organization, Inbar, was established in 1997. Inbar is the first intergovernmental organization to host its headquarters in China, and remains the only one to focus on promoting bamboo and rattan for sustainable development. Inbar's mission is to improve the well-being of producers and users of bamboo and rattan by consolidating, coordinating, and supporting strategic and adaptive research and development. Over the last 2 decades, Inbar has grown steadily, and in April 2019, reached 45 member states. Our member states are spread across Africa, Asia, Oceania, and the Americas. Inbar has regional offices in Cameroon, Ecuador, Ethiopia, Ghana, and India. To realize its mission, Inbar is active across different fields, such as environmental protection, poverty alleviation, and livelihood development. Inbar supports scientific and technological innovation, the cultivation and expansion of existing resources, downstream processing and utilization, and the promotion and use of a wide variety of diversified products, as well as showcasing the positive contribution to the development of a green economy, poverty alleviation, and livelihood improvement. Cultural products and heritage can enhance quality of life and protect, enhance, and expand bamboo and rattan culture. Inbar is an observer to the United Nations General Assembly and has recently achieved great success during its 20th anniversary celebrations and 2018's Global Bamboo and Rattan Congress. Heads of state from China, Ethiopia, Ecuador, Colombia, Cameroon, and Madagascar, as well as heads of high-level agencies of the United Nations, expressed support for these events in different forms or congratulated Inbar for its increasing international visibility and influence. Looking towards the future, Inbar has formulated a development plan for 2015 to 2030. We will work with member states and international partners to help achieve the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and align with plans for the Belt and Road Initiative and South-South cooperation. Inbar will forge a unique path to make a real positive difference and work together towards a more equitable and greener world.
Warm greetings from UIA. I am José Luis Cortés, President of the International Union of Architects. For the last 73 years, the UIA alone has represented the world's architects, now estimated to around 3.2 million. The UIA unites architects from more than 100 countries and territories by the strength of diversity and partnership across the 5 regions of the UIA. At the COP21-24, when the UIA made calls in action to halt climate change, governments, civil society, and the private sector have recognized that the built environment is a contributor to climate change. UN declared year 2021 as the Climate Action Year. We have to implement climate action for cities in terms of climate adaptation, mitigation, and response. Coupled with the pandemic situation, we are examining closely the immediate and pressing future of our built environment and human settlements. By 2030, we have to implement the Sustainable Development Goals to achieve changes in next 8 years is a global challenge. In recognition of the urgency of the situation, the UIA has formed an independent commission on sustainable development goals named UIA SDG Commission to influence architects towards sustainable, resilient, climate-friendly, and carbon-neutral design. To facilitate the challenge, we accept UN Habitat's new urban agenda as our own, and we endorse United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and we pledge to achieve carbon neutrality in our communities and buildings. The UIA acknowledges the efforts of all stakeholders of built environment to make change. Similarly, governments, civil society, researchers, and the private sector can help secure public demand for sustainable solutions and investment. To initiate new solutions, we have to explore new partnerships. For this, we look to Inbar, with its expertise assisting governments, businesses, and local communities to identify new and innovative uses for bamboo and rattan as a building material across more than 50 countries in global South Asia, Africa, and Latin America. The UIA is delighted to work with Inbar to promote resilient design through sharing the design ideas of bamboo architecture. Lastly, on the occasion of the COP26, I pledge to the architects of the world to acknowledge that using the time-tested traditional technology, innovative ideas, and in the passive implementation process, there is a window of opportunity to shape our built environment and the cities in a way that reduces overall energy consumption and greenhouse gas emissions. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's start. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our third session, our third seminar, the Global Bamboo Construction Seminar. Today we will be talking about the business models on global bamboo construction. And the main aim of this webinar is to provide our audience with real and tangible examples to identify where are the markets for bamboo structures and bamboo constructions, as well as to find out what products are available and who are producing them. Finally, our speakers will also share the challenges and opportunities that they have experienced or foreseen as professionals engaged in the sector for many years. We hope this will be a valuable learning experience for all of you, and we look forward to receive in the chat box your opinions, questions, and feedbacks for a fruitful discussion at the end. So before I introduce my speakers, I would like to emphasize one more time to keep your cameras off and also to mute your microphones. And of course, please send us your comments, your questions, your feedback by the chat box. So with that, I will introduce our speakers, and then I will introduce the first speaker later, more broadly. So our three speakers today are from Europe, from China, and from South America. From Europe, we have Francesco Intrieri. He's an Italian, half Italian, half Spanish. He is based in Spain, and he's the director of projects of BAMBUSA. We have also with us Mr. Xiong Zhenhua, the general manager of Ganzhou Sentai Bamboo and Wood Company in the south of China. And we have also from Colombia Mr. Juan Paulo Mayorca. He is the CEO of a bamboo company named Del Bambú. The seminar today will be moderated by Hector Archila. He is a senior lecturer at the University of the West of England, and also member of the Inbar Construction Task Force. He will be moderating the discussion later, the questions. And myself, who will be introducing our speakers today and also moderating their presentations. I'm the Global Policy Officer at Inbar, and I'm very happy to be today here with you moderating this webinar. So then let's go to our first speaker today. Our first speaker is Mr. Francesco Intrieri. He is the Chief Operating Officer and Director of Projects of BAMBUSA Studio. He is an architect graduated at the University of Florence with a specialization in wood technology. He is also an industrial and furniture designer, teacher in open source design workshops and carpentry courses. Since 2012, he is the project manager and Chief Operating Officer at BAMBUSA Studio, which is a company established in Spain in 2009 and looking for new approaches and alternatives in architecture and furniture. They are specialists in bamboo structure design and construction, and main suppliers in the Southern Europe of the best materials selected at origin and imported directly. They also are a good partner of Inbar. They co-organized with us the first Ibero Bamboo Symposium held in Spain in October 2019. And Francesco will provide us an overview of the challenges and opportunities that bamboo applications have to facilitate innovation in Europe. So, dear Francesco, thanks for being with us today to provide a European perspective. And with that, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Borja. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for this invitation. So here we are, and I think I'll start directly with my presentation. So let's share my screen, and here we are. Okay, so let's start. Can you hear me clearly and see me? Yeah, everything okay? So, who we are BAMBUSA? Well, thank you very much for this introduction of our company. So we are here since 2009 and recently have well collaborated with Inbar in several activities, and very pleased to participate in this e-learning program. So, hey, oh, just a minute. I see. I think that you see.
Yes, we can see it clearly. No problem.
Clearly in full screen. Yeah.
Yes.
I just a minute. Okay. So here we are. The title of this speech is this: Bamboo applications, challenges and opportunities to facilitate innovation in Europe. We'll make a path through these years about, let's say, the spaces we could find in this bamboo world to develop bamboo constructions and other kind of well, the spreading of bamboo in general. So let's start. First of all, I like to introduce what is our philosophy, which we may call also business model. We like better to call it philosophy because it's sort of reuniting these three focus points, which goes in parallel for us, which is the design and structure and design and construction, supply of bamboo, and training. So let's say that we all come from the architecture with an architectural and engineering background. So the structural design is a part very important for us. And then, of course, supplying and training is completing the services we are offering. So just to start, I want to go back in the years where everything started. We say this was back in 2009 with the first construction of garden and terrace structures. This is the first of all, and it's still there, and it's a construction of a terrace for a restaurant, a beach restaurant, 120 square meters approximately. And this was made with guado bamboo, which was the first material that we started importing back in 2009, when I wasn't part of this, where let's say my partner Isaac was the founder of the company, and he started with this let's say local works and showing the possibilities of bamboo, which here was absolutely unknown. So this is the first one. Then we had some other construction of structures. This one, for example, is an exterior garage for cars, let's say, for parking cars in a private house. And this is already a more complex structure, because it has some bamboo truss, which you can see over here for the main structure of the roof, which in this case needed not to have columns in the middle, and the covering was a tile covering, so it was pretty heavy, and so we had to create this special truss to make that the weight was sufficiently resistant for the weight he was receiving. And this structure actually is over there. It's in perfect condition, except a couple of times that we were there for minor maintenance, let's say, only referring to aspect, some changes of colors due to UVA rays, but nothing more. It's over there since more than 10 years and still using it and perfectly maintained. This is another pergola. This is one of the first projects too, in a very beautiful site, private house with beautiful views. This has a covering with fabrics, which is mounted and dismounted every summer and winter. And so here also this needed some kind of maintenance, but only, let's say, as an aspect. The poles are in very good state, and this is also surviving too. So the durability of bamboo, we have now let's say some data to ensure that after 10, 12 years, all these structures are still living and in good conditions. Following on, then, as we mentioned before, in 2012, we make more powerful the whole wholesale theme. We started importing also moso bamboo, more than guadua from Colombia, so moso and guadua. We mounted the e-commerce website, so this let's say the web shop was very useful to reach single users and to spread information and to increase the visibility of bamboo poles as a material useful for the most various applications, decoration, gardening, for interior design. Let's say that our customers today are really different as necessities, and we try to attend the best we can every kind of customer, the small one, the crafter, or eventually architects, decorators, professional users. And this is the result of this work. This means that we often work, in this case, these three images are our installations. The first on the left is a bamboo shading cover of a pergola. This in the middle is a really beautiful bar that was recently opened in Barcelona, in which the contractor in this case made this great decoration with falling poles. And this on the right is a garden separation with bamboo panels or fences. So this is, let's say, one of our way of a relation with the customers. Let's say that we make the supply, the contractor already comes with a definite project, and we make some part of advice on the best variety, the most suitable variety of bamboo he can use depending on the use. Let's say that we don't like to be seen as a simple bamboo market. We are very involved with all the inquiries of the customers, so we like to participate in this process all that we can. We have customers who buy directly, and also decorators or interior designers who want to include bamboo in their projects, and they are asking us for advice in which bamboo is better for each application. So in the years, we went let's say this is a different level of project, because this message that we are trying to transmit of let's say that we are people who come from this architectural background and construction, made that we started to work in direct contact, depending on the cases, with the architects or with the promoters of projects. So in these pictures, you can see a restaurant private lounge here in the Spanish coast, Mediterranean coast. And this project, that you can see, let's say that the customer came to us with an idea of making a terrace, but he did not have the idea on how to build it with bamboo. He liked the material, he saw great possibilities, but he didn't know how to apply. So we worked in this way, which is that we prepare him all the plans or the 3D information regarding the aspect and all the necessary plans for his people, his workers, to make the construction. We also made all the prefabrication, for example, of the fish mouth unions. Of course, the supply of all the bamboo poles, bamboo roll fences for the covering, also bamboo decorative panels. And I can say that this project was very satisfactory to us, because there was a very big how can I say, let's say, we create a good relationship with the promoter, and there was this direct contact with their constructors. So we took a great use of WhatsApp. We sent it for example construction details and building instructions. So we facilitated very much the work to the company, which in this case was not a specialized company in construction with bamboo, but we made this sort of filter. Then another project which was really interesting and satisfactory to us was the participation in the Venice Architecture Biennale in 2016. In this case, the project was a project of a pavilion in the exposition, and the architect who was in charge, Felipe Vera, and Chilean from Chile, and Rahul Mehrotra, which is from United States. They had this pavilion. This project of the pavilion, they sent us the preliminary project, and we worked hand by hand with them, defining all the construction details, which materials to use, which was finally all the use of ropes. Because there was some kind of Indian inspiration and traditional construction, so the rope was fundamental to make this sort of scaffolding structure. It was pretty complicated for us because of the logistics in Venice, which is an island. So all the logistics of materials is completely different than any other construction site. Very intense, because it's of course you have a very few time to complete the pavilion, but very satisfactory too. We finally completed the time, and it was very satisfactory, very beautiful place for we're working. Then another project which we like very much. This is a project for a small pavilion, let's say a chill out zone inside a festival, a music fest in Valencia, which is made in Ciudad de las Artes y las Ciencias, which is this intervention of Santiago Calatrava, very spectacular. And in this case, the designer of this structure came us with this proposal of parametric design. I mean, this all this structure, all these triangles is all designed through parametric features. So we had to, let's say, to interpret all the design, prepare all the pieces to make that this structure was functional. And also we had to find a way of making all the joints, counting with a small change of measures, which in Bamboo is always possible because of the heterogeneity of the material, and combining it to the parametric design, which do not admit normally tolerances in the measures. This was also solved. We made all the plans. We built the structure in 1:1 scale in our warehouse, and then we detached it and went to the site, and we mounted it again. And then it was completed with this canvas, with this canvas rope, white, which was really according to the site, and was also very, very satisfactory. This is another pavilion. This is a couple of years ago in Madrid, when COP25 was moved to Madrid. In a very short time, and so we were asked to the Indonesia to the Indonesian people of the pavilion to build these arches, which were the arches of the entrance of the pavilion. These arches were kind of the typical architecture in Indonesia. So here we worked also with the prefabrication in our workshop. We prepared all these arches one by one, and then we mounted them, we presented them in real scale. And then again, this was made in our workshops and warehouse, and then it was partially detached and then mounted in the site in Madrid directly. This is a similar project, let's say a smaller project, but something similar, also with cured bamboo poles. In this case, it's Restaurant Terrace in the nearby Valencia, also in the seaside, in the Mediterranean area. And in this case, we also prefabricated all the arches. We curved all the canes with in a workshop with well, the canes are, of course, dry canes, so we had to use heat and vapor. We invented some sort of oven where we put we were kind of cooking the poles, we may say. They get so they lose some hardness, and so we could cure them and prepare the model in the 1:1 scale in the warehouse, and then again dismounted, and then we went to the site and mounted it, always starting from the plans of the decorator, in this case, which was in charge of the whole decoration of the restaurant. This is another project of detachable structure. This is a project which also we like very much, because this is a very lightweight structure, 120 square meters for fair pavilion. This was a temporary fair which was made in Valladolid, Spain, about bioconstruction and let's say natural construction. And in this case, we tried to, well, the necessity was that this structure was had to be really lightweight and easy and fast to mount and dismount. So in this case, we designed some special pieces, 3D printed pieces for the joints, which you can see here. We made an engineering on the poles, inserting some metal tubes inside, which permits this joint, very easy to mount. Inside these pieces, we had different pieces, all custom designed depending on the number of the poles which goes to each one. And in this case, this is also a parametric structure. In this case, it's all made of triangles, and the structure, the whole structure, is working with both let's say well, with this the balance of the strength is made both from the bamboo poles and from the canvas. So the strength of tension and compression are also balanced. So let's say every part of the structure was participating in the static well, in making it firm and all complete. This is another project. This is an auto construction project for a customer of us. In this case, this was really interesting because this customer came to us with an idea, pretty closed idea of what he wanted to do, and he wanted to do this holiday house, all in bamboo. Which has different zones. There is a kitchen zone, a bathroom zone, and a living room space. So in here we worked hand by hand to him, which was a contractor and constructor, also providing all details. We made a lot of calls and video calls while he was in the construction to help him to finish. And I have to say that when I saw these pictures, I was very impressed by the work, because the site is marvelous. And in this case, I think that bamboo is perfectly integrated in the landscape of Canary Islands. Very beautiful place and very beautiful project, and made with a very, I can say low-cost project. All these constructions were made directly by the promoter, the owner. So very satisfactory too.
Francesco, you have 2 more minutes.
2 more. Oh, I'm so it's very well. I'm speaking too much. So all this project, what I was trying to say is that is referring to bamboo poles regulation in Europe. Let's say all these projects do not require building permission, so we can see all these as opportunities that we could catch, referring to temporary and ephemeral construction, pavilions or garden structure, auxiliary architecture, or temporary residences, or rural tourism, like cabins and glamping, which is very fashion lately. Referring to the regulations in Europe, as everybody perfectly knows, there is no regulation about the use of bamboo poles in Europe. The regulations we are following very closely is the new ISO 22156, which the task force is working on it, and we are willing to see also the last of the seminars of this series of seminars, to see all these all the advances. and the NSR10, the Colombian construction regulation, which is our referent actually when we had to make static calculations to confirm resistor and static resistance of a structure. Then there is the fire test issue, which you know that in Europe fire regulation is pretty strict, so there is no regulation yet about bamboo poles. There are a lot of individual tests, academic tests. Here the site is of one test, academic test, in which we participated, giving the poles to burn. This was made from Joaquin Monton, which you like to remember, but because he is not with us anymore, from La Universidad de Catalunya. And they studied, starting from some bamboo pieces, they studied the fire behavior of Guado angustifolia in function of the moisture content, the microstructure, and the presence of borax, of retardant. So they make this three kind of tests with a pyrolysis microcalorimeter. These are all technical names, let's say, about how the fire is spreading in a bamboo pole and the limiting oxygen index. And then they made a scanning with the microscope, and they basically detected that bamboo, I mean, they detected three parts of the bamboo pole: the exterior part, which is the one that better resists to fire, the middle part, and the interior part, which is the one which is burning more fastly, because the outer zones are rich in silicon, the inner zones have not so much silicon. So this makes the combustion different between the zones, but this is only a conclusion, is not nothing that can make regulation. We think there is a lot of studies in this case, and we are also willing to know all the results. Referring to this, to building construction, to building a house, we want to mention a particular case, which is a bamboo structure project for a surfer house. We like to call it like this. The promoter was a surfer guy who was who wanted to build his house and asked us for the project of the roof structure with bamboo. We designed for him some kind of a wave truss, we called it, and all the structure. And what happened, that this was yes, that needed a building permission. So the design process of this project was first of all to define the design and concept. Then we found a committed architect, which was let's say he was believing in the good of the NSR10 and the Godwa poles. So he said, okay, for the static calculation, no problem. But the fire issue was, let's say, some kind of block for us, because the burning of a bamboo pole cannot be, let's say, at the moment is not complying the minimum requirements of 30 minutes for one plant house, like in this case. So we made some tests with fire retardant tests. We shipped samples of poles to Italy to a company who makes fire retardant for wood. They made these tests. They never had made tests on bamboo, so they didn't know even if the product was suitable for bamboo. So they finally tried. We had the results. The product was suitable for bamboo, but it did not reach the sufficient fire retard to comply the R30 minutes regulation. In this case, due to not having the possibility of using only bamboo, the solution was using a mixed structure for the roof, which was made of wooden structure of the minimum section possible to comply with fire resistance, and then this guadua bamboo wave trusses for the bending deformation. Then what happened that let's say the time this guy was very committed with us and he was believing in the project. Then for times he decided to use traditional materials because of also he had to wait some time for us to make these proofs, and he also had to make some special static tests on this piece. So he finally decided to change material, but for us was really interesting to go through all this in all this process.
Yes. We
Yeah,
have to conclude,
very long time,
Francesco.
Yeah, we have to conclude. Well, I wanted to show you some examples of constructed structures in Europe which exist. I don't know if you know, in Northern Europe there is this bamboo pavilion which was constructed in 2002 by Emisiones Zero. This pavilion also is today still in use and in very perfect conditions. And what I wanted to transmit is that this pavilion could be made and legalized mainly because of the local administration involved. I mean, there was a design team of Emisiones Zero, of architects, on they had to make a static laboratory test. They have to make on-site static tests, charging 1,000 kilos on the cover. The University of Milan was involved, but what I was transmitted by Emisiones Zero, which I'm in contact with them, is that the local administration was really super important, because without them, this project would not exist.
Okay,
so,
I think
nada.
I think you can introduce. Maybe we can talk about it more in the discussion at the end, Francesco.
Okay. I don't wanna.
Okay.
Didn't. Okay. So should I cut?
Thank you so much.
Sorry.
Thanks.
It was so fast.
Sorry. We don't have. We are running out of time, so
I'm sorry
for that. Thanks. Thank you so much, Francesco. You have shown us some beautiful examples. Like the example you have shown us in Alicante is fantastic. I think that is one of the styles that we would like to see more in Europe, and I think it shows a good example that can be implemented in some other places. And some others that you have shown also, like the one in Canary Islands, I think that is perfectly feasible in those kind of weather. So thanks for that. I don't have more time to go into other things that I would like to touch, but I think perhaps we can go at the end discuss a bit more. So with that, I will go to my next speaker, who is Mr. Xiong Zhenhua. He's the general manager of Ganzhou Sentai Bamboo and Wood Company. He is the second generation of a family engaged in the bamboo industry, and is also a specialist in the Chinese bamboo industry with more than 10 years experience. His company has a broad vision, which allows them to bring new ideas, concept, and new challenges. Mr. Xiong, the team has led many interesting case studies related to bamboo globally in the fields of structural building, decoration, and furniture. He will introduce today the global applications of Chinese bamboo construction materials, by sharing the experience of a local enterprise based here in China. So let's welcome Mr. Xiong Zhenhua. You have the floor. Yes, Mr. Yes, thank you. We can see the slides.
Distinguished guests, I feel very happy to speak on behalf of a Chinese bamboo company to talk about the use of bamboo in the market. My company is called Grizu. And basically, this is the value we try to deliver. We already run the company for 23 years. We have 200 staff. This is the situation of the bamboo resources. Every year, we can supply 9 billion moso bamboo combs, and we can only use 20% of it. So this means that we have a huge potential for further utilization of the resources. So I want to show you what we do in this regard. And I want to show you some interesting cases. So what we do and what we can do. So, when we were little kids, we used all types of bamboo utensils, but the world is changing. People have different needs. How do we use bamboo and to what degree? That is something we've been pursuing for life. So we do all types of utilization. This is for furniture and structure. So basically, we are thinking about the bamboo structure. This is a lounge in the park. Everything, especially the interiors, are using bamboo for decoration. And also a very short video to demonstrate. This is how we construct and design. And we used all our team members. We are sorry that the screen is blank. So probably you cannot show the video. Okay, let's skip this. Are you showing the PowerPoint or short video? This is not a bamboo structure. You can see this is in Beijing, the Garden Expo. And some are in the countryside. This is in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, some private residence.
This is a project in the Netherlands. This is just a completed project in Shanghai Expo. This is a bamboo weaving project. In addition to bamboo structure, we also have a lot of bamboo interior projects. This was a picture taken in 2019. An airport project in Israel, 40,000 square meters. And all the inner space use bamboo decoration and satisfying Europe and UK's fire-related regulations and rules. You can see all the ceiling and also interior decoration are using bamboos. The single height sometimes is 6 meters. This is the lounge in the airport. All the interior decoration use bamboos. This was another project in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands. It is a wooden structure, a hotel in Amsterdam, but the inner decoration use bamboos. And those moving doors and internal decoration all use bamboo materials. From designing and construction, our team participated in the whole process. This is our Chinese domestic hotel interior decoration. It's the first ever bamboo construction in Shanghai. With top-notch, famous architects, Sugaruban together. These, you can see the walls, ceilings, interior and exterior walls are use bamboos, bamboo weavings as well. This is Hong Kong Hong Kong University. This is the major campus. All the office buildings, libraries use bamboos instead of timbers. This is the lounge, meeting room, and the students' dormitories. You can see all the materials are bamboo. Auditorium. This large project took us 3 years to complete. This is in Hong Kong, some commercial projects. You can see the interior decoration and selling. These are the office buildings in Shanghai. You can see the visibility is good. And also these bending curves, very artistic. This is the best of the best Red Dot Design Award. This is a decoration for kitchen, restaurant. This is traditional bamboo weaving projects. This is our second time cooperating with the top-notch designing masters. This is a restaurant. All the furniture and walls are using bamboo panels. Very innovative connectors. The restaurant project, we completed the Hong Kong Urban Museum. Since this museum would only be opened next week, so we cannot disclose any photos with you. But what I can tell you is all the internal decorations, furniture, ceilings, walls are using bamboos. Now let's move to the bamboo furniture. After talking about bamboo construction, bamboo interior. This is the furniture for the suites in US hotels. STR lifestyle furniture. You can see the furniture's beds used for the living room. We use the brown color or native wood color. Outdoor furniture. These are the tables and desks we provided for the Danish clients. I tried to play you some video clips. Let me try again. Shh.
If not, perhaps you can. Perhaps if it's not possible for you to play it, maybe we can try also ourselves. I don't know if Xinhui can try. She has the presentation, I think. Oh, there it goes.
Can you see my shared screen now? Yes.
Yes, do it.
You have to check both boxes, the audio and video. Then we can hear the sound. There's no audio. Check. Can you explain what are you showing?
Now it's.
Actually, I have a lot more video clips, but in the interest of time, I just
Thank you.
select one or two of them.
Thank you very much, Mr. Xiong, for your interesting presentation. I think the examples you have shown of the use of bamboo for interior design in places like the Israel airport, which sounds very familiar to me also because we have the similar kind of use of bamboo in the airport of Madrid in Spain. So that is also a nice example of how bamboo can be used in construction, and also very beautiful, and also passengers like it, and I think it is more countries are paying attention to this kind of use of bamboo. Also, you have shown us the recent bamboo weaving structure in Shanghai in the expo, and we hope to be able to see soon the one in Hong Kong, in Kowloon, in West Kowloon, which I think is used also for interior design. I think I have seen some pictures of it recently, I think in some social networks, and it is a very nice interior design use of bamboo also. So with that, I will go to our third speaker. I want to thank Mr. Xiong very much, and perhaps we can discuss more later at the end. And I will introduce our next speaker, which is Juan Paulo Mayorca. He is from Colombia. He is the chief executive officer of Del Bambú. He's a Colombian chemical engineer with 30 years experience in the petrochemical industry in Colombia. And in 2014, he founded Del Bambú, a company with a dedicated mission to contribute to climate change mitigation by transforming bamboo wadwa, one of the most beautiful and more with best qualities of bamboo species, into useful and high quality products that satisfy the client's needs in both national and international markets. He will share with us his journey as a pioneer as an industrial businessman in the bamboo sector in Colombia, presenting us his vision on how to industrialize the production of wadwa bamboo in the country, in Colombia. So with that, Don Juan, the floor is yours.
mainly material. So in year 2014, I went to China again, and I was visiting several factories and universities to understand what the bamboo industrial transformation possibilities were. After knowing all the industrial process for bamboo, I found that 4 lines, I would like to work in 4 lines, and I did a business plan for 20 years. So I decided 4 lines of production. First, the round sticks for skewers and toothpick. Second, for boards made of slats. This is cross-laminated and laminated boards. The third line, it was for bamboo toothbrush. And the final process that we want to get in is the strand woven bamboo. So we were investigating about, we did all the research about the market size, price reference, investment, how many hectares of bamboo were required for feeding each of the industries, the operating cost of each process, the cash flow, and the forecast for profit on each of these 4 processes selected. So in year 2015, we set the first factory for doing round sticks. And after 2 years of struggling with this process, we decided to close our operation for round stick in year 2015. We had several problems that we didn't know we will have. And the first one, it was the quality of bamboo supplied in Colombia. Here, because the use is without any kind of quality specifications, people just cut the bamboo in 2 or 3 years old, which is not enough for the industrial process, because the way that people is paid is not the appropriate one. The method of cropping is just the human force and with the machete. And 90% of the people that use bamboo in Colombia is just the round bamboo and it's for construction, but it's just a temporary use. So the second problem that we face is that for making round sticks, because the thick of the wall of our bamboo is around 12 mm and above, you need to slice every slat in several layers in order to have good productivity. And we were not able to do this because the fiber of our bamboo, the wild one, Gustifolia kuhn, is different to the bamboo that is grown in China, the Philostachys pubescens. So after these 2 years, because we were just getting the even point, so we decided to go to the second stage. And this is the factory that we built. It's around 2,000 square meters. And year 2018, after learning many things and setting the process, we developed new suppliers with the quality required for this industrial processing. We bought the machinery in China. Year 2019, we did the startup of this plant. We started production on December year 2019. So our product quality is very good, and the processing cost, it was validated. But unfortunately, year 2020, everybody knows that for the pandemic, all companies were closed. We started our commercial operation, at the beginning of this year, 2021, and we have been working on the supply chain, and we are working on the Forest Stewardship Council certification. This is the video, but it doesn't appear here. And so at the moment, with this laminated and cross-laminated bamboo boards, we have the format of 130 centimeters wide and 265 centimeters long. It's not the international format, but for designers in Colombia, they said that this format, it works very well for all the things that they need to do. We have our boards, one layer boards, 8 millimeters in horizontal format and 20 millimeters in the vertical gluing way. We produce multi-layer boards in the sizes that you can see in the screen, for 15 mm up to 55 millimeters. The density of our boards is 700 kilograms per cubic meter, and it's the plus and less 5%. Because the market is asking to us to provide finished products, we are manufacturing doors for houses, interior and exterior doors. We are making doors for the kitchen cabinets. This is just a case that some customers want like giant doors. This door is 230 centimeters wide, 320 centimeters tall, and the thickness is 55 millimeters. It's solid. It's a solid board, and the weight, it was 290 kilograms. This market is very good for us, which is the stair steps, because this is a long fiber, and this is a full slat board. The mechanical resistance is very high, and we are replacing the wood that comes from the tropical forest, and the mechanical resistance is as high that for the bamboo stair steps, you just need the half of the thickness that is required from the hardwood that comes from the tropical forest. This is another view of stair steps. We are selling surfaces for tables. This is a table for a meeting room. We are making round tables. This is an exterior table. By year 2021, our company, it has the production capacity of 50 cubic meters per month in one shift of 8 hours and working 20 days a month. To have an idea, this is like making 2,200 boards of thickness 20 millimeters and in the format that we produce. But our warehouse, it was designed for double capacity. As I told you before, for year 2022, we expect to have the certification FSC. Thank you very much for this space, and I would like to present to you another thing that is important, which is the Colombian Bamboo Federation. Just give me a second, please. In Colombia, since 17 years ago, a group of persons very interested on developing the bamboo in Colombia founded a Fedeguadua, which is a federation that is working to develop this sector in Colombia, because the social and environmental issues around the guadua are important. As I told you, we have 50,000 hectares with bamboo in Colombia, and we are just using 4%. So to develop the usage of bamboo in Colombia can bring to the people in the farms a good development. We in Fedeguadua, we accept all international participants that want to work for this for the bamboo in the world. So we have several companies that belong to our Fedeguadua group. Okay, this is all my presentation. Again, thank you very much. Welcome to Colombia anytime.
Borja, I think we couldn't hear you.
Borja, we are not listening to you.
Yeah, we still cannot hear from you.
Borja, please try again.
Borja, do you want me to continue with the questions? Just put in the chat if that's okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Thank you very much to all the speakers, to Francesco, and all the speakers. So it's very good. It's been this. I think this session has been excellent today, and we have loads of questions coming up. So if you have any questions, please post them on the chat, and please refer to who you want to ask the question to. So we have some questions here and that I have collated from the chat box. And I'm going to start with some questions for Francesco, who was our first speaker for the day. Francesco, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Here I am.
Excellent.
Hello, Hector.
Perfect. Hola, Francesco.
Hola.
So I got a question here. Either you can answer it, I guess, in English. It was formulated in Spanish, but I'm gonna ask it in English. So the first question is: who is your main supplier of bamboo for your buildings, for your structures, Francesco?
For the structures, we always recommend the use of guadua bamboo. So we may say that Colombia is the main supplier, just because of the well, mainly because of the treatment processes, the borage preservation process, and all this. Let's say the processes that normally in Colombia are used on bamboo poles. Pardon me. And we also have a great provider from China for moso poles, which you use for, let's say, smaller structures, all the femoral structures and all the decoration issues, non-structural uses. let's say. So we can say both China and Colombia, depending on the purpose.
Perfect. So for structures, you use mainly bamboo,
Mainly guadua.
guadua from Colombia.
Mainly
But you mentioned
because
also that you have. Sorry.
No, mostly because of the climate of here, which is not a tropical climate. So the issue, for example, of fissuring and cracking in guadua poles is is lower.
Okay, but you mentioned also that you're using mozo for
Mozo poles for non-permanent structures. I mean, if we look for durability of fixed structures, we usually choose the guadua because of these characteristics of this variety. For every other use, let's say the old bamboo is suitable. So for lightweight structures, detachable structures, we use moss also. Yes.
Okay, and you mentioned some of the treatments that you use for preserving the bamboo or for increasing the durability. Is there any particular treatment that you use?
Well, the treatment I mentioned is the Colombia regulation treatment, which is the immersion in borax, and this is very good for preservation, for not being attacked by insects, for not appearance of exterior mold. So it's a very good process. It definitely makes I think bamboo more durable.
Okay, so that's a good treatment.
Well,
I think that's something we should all.
Always speaking in raw materials in bamboo poles, let's say. Of course,
poles.
all engineering products is another world. So.
Okay. And I guess, is there any coating, any varnish that you use to on top when you install the structure also?
Well, after installations, we tried several products, and the one which works better for us is oils. Let's say these oils, which are usually used for tropical wood, like teak or teak oil, is for us the best because it's not. You say it's not it permits the pole to the flow of water, and so well, it's very good for maintenance. It permits repainting without any other thing. If you use for example flatting products, this is not sticking on the pole, so it's if exposed on sun, it gets very bad. So oils for us give the best result.
Okay, and I guess you will apply some protection by design also, and
of course.
Sure that
all protection by design, the big hat and good feet, as they say in Colombia, is of course for long duration structures is very important.
Perfect. We got another question here related to cost of building with bamboo in Spain. Yeah, well, you have mentioned they're asking if you're using any local species also, or you're importing. So you have sort of answered that question. But how about the cost?
How about the cost? Well, the cost is very complicated. We often are asked for a price for square meter of construction cost, and this is really variable because of the conditions of the construction, because it's not the same to have a lightweight pergola, only shading, which is really simple construction, or if you have to make a more complicated structure in order to have bigger weights, bigger charge. So it's very complicated to give a number because every project is so tailor-made that makes us difficult to say a number.
Francesco, did you mention a figure? No, you're saying that a number. of cost? No,
I
it's
really
just
can't tell you a
different
number
depending on
because
the
it's
project.
so different. It's so different. I could tell you from I don't know really, because it's it really very changing.
It's
So we have
difficult.
very complicated. Let's say it could be something similar to laminated wood, local wood. Maybe laminated wood, especially now, is more expensive, but it's possibly easier to build with it because of its regular measures. So we may have a cheapest material, but eventually more expensive handwork. So it's more or less balanced.
Okay, and I got another one, and this is the last one for you, Francesco, about 3D printing. They are asking. I probably missed that that one. Did you use 3D printing in this Espora Fair Pavilion in
Yes.
Valladolid?
Yes.
So they're asking about the what advantages did it have to 3D print that pavilion?
Well,
If you see more possibilities of having those bamboo structures utilizing additive manufacturing.
I think so. I think that one of the great opportunities and challenges at the same time is that we can mix bamboo with other kind of materials. And in this specific case, for example, usually joints on bamboo for long duration structures are usually metal joints. So very heavy, very complicated, very expensive. In this case, as we had to repeat the joint, the 3D print way was sort of first of all for us to study how it was working, and the resistance of the PLA. This material which is used for 3D prints, and there is a long walk in this way, because the materials on 3D printers are so different, with different characteristics of strength resistance. It was for us interesting to try this different joint and try to standardize the joint, instead of having always joints custom made from a welder, and also reduce the weight and makes it easy to mount and dismount.
I do like that approach, Francesco. And it is, of course, there are many things that we don't know about bamboo when we use it, well, in its round shape and in its structures. And it's good that you have been doing some, well, partnering with other people to do some testing, like what you mentioned on the fire and on those connections. Because yeah, that's when we are not certain about something, we should find we should find those answers. And I think that's something that is very well, commendable from your side. And thanks, Francesco. I got some questions also for Xiong Zhenhua. Got someone asking here, what is the size? I don't know if we have Xiong with us. Yes, we got. So I got a question here, and people were very impressed with your presentation, the different pictures that you showed. They're asking us about the size of a manufacturing facility to produce. If you want, I can copy it on the chat again. So, so people are asking, what is the size of a manufacturing facility to produce the products that you have produced, and how much hectares of bamboo you need to do that?
For our manufacturing facility occupies 23,000 square meters. more than 190 employees and workers. Unlike other manufacturing facilities, our raw materials from moso bamboo to bamboo slates are not manufactured in our workshop. Our workshop or manufacturing facilities only start from slates to panels. So for the raw materials, you cannot find from our manufacturing facility, which means the first process is being outsourced by other facilities. Other facilities produce moso bamboo raw material into slats or pieces, then transported into our facility. It's not an easy copy-paste modality. As the host introduced me, I'm the second generation. In our team, 56% of the staff are young elites born after 1980s. So comparing to the traditional processing facilities, factories, they have more innovative, different ideas.
Excellent. I guess it's a good example of supply chain that is being structured and works for your business, and then you can have those different stages of your supply chain to produce your products. 23,000 square meters. That's a huge size. And another question here, how can, and I'm gonna copy it in the chat box again, so the translators have it available. So the next question is, how can these structural applications be implemented outside China? I think you mentioned one example in the Middle East.
Indeed, we have also agents in US, in Australia, in the Middle East. So at different regions, they can provide unique raw materials, different features, because different countries have different codes or requirements or standards, like US, EU. They have different construction structure standards, different regional standards. The production requirements are different. So we would align those industry standards and the local codes to have customized production. Our factory is very experienced. EU, Middle East, US, even Southeast Asia requirements we know very well.
Excellent. And yeah, as you said, the requirements will change depending on the country. Thank you very much. I'll open the floor for all the speakers in a little bit, but I got another question now. I got a couple of questions for Juan Paulo. Juan Paulo, are you with us there? Juan Paulo, hola Juan Paulo, ¿estás ahí? Perfect. Juan Paulo, I'm gonna copy the question in the chat box. The first question is, what surface of what plantation surface is needed to start a macro industry of bamboo, for an industry of bamboo? $120 hectares, and you can produce 180,000 square meters per year. 200. To produce 180,000 square meters. 1,800 cubic meters. Okay, that's impressive. And that's with only one line. The factory. And the surface of your factory again? Okay, excellent. And I guess there is, Xiong was telling us how the supply chain in China is quite well structured and how he receives the material already pre-processed for the products. Is that the case in your factory, Juan? So it's still a process in progress. It's an industry in growing in Colombia. And I guess that's where trade associations like Fedeguado are quite important to, to help structuring that supply and that value chain in Colombia. Yeah, and climate change. And Juan, I got another question here. Where do you import? Are you importing your? I don't know if it's importing or exporting your guadua panels. It's probably exporting. If you're in Colombia, are you exporting your guadua panels? Excellent. And one last question that I can see here is about the problems that you have when you were setting up your factory using machines from China. So you've been asked, what did you do to solve those problems? And how did you make sure the supply of bamboo in the second factory was secured, I guess? So how do you go about solving the problems of the machines imported from China?
Process, and the guadua is very hard and the fiber is quite different. So we have to adopt or adapt this machinery to the bamboo in Colombia, the guadua, which is harder. And we understood that to solve the problem of a small layering, I mean, when you have the slat and you have to divide the slat in several layers, we decided not to fight against this. And that's why with the boards, we don't have that problem because we can use the slat as it comes after drying or immunizing. So we don't have any that kind of problems. The mozo bamboo can run faster in the machines, but the guadua have to run slower. So we have to put a speed variation for every motor, but it's not something difficult to solve. It's just to adapt to our species. But my experience with Chinese machinery is just excellent since the plastic industry, because I used to buy injection machines, extrusion machines, molds, and everything from China. So I'm really happy with Chinese machinery and the people in China.
Excellent. Thanks, Juan Paulo. We got another question here for Mr. Xiong. And the first question that I have for Mr. Xiong is, let me see, I lost it. Well, I got here one. What important strategies are needed to have successful collaborations with important architects, I guess? Shigeru Ban, Herzog, and Demeron. And that's a question coming from Dulce.
Well, how to work with these top architects? When they approach us, we tell them we are very honored and privileged because we are a company in a small niche market. And if the top world-class architectural designers come to us, we feel very privileged. But I don't really think there are many tricks. We just be very humble. And the architects, they could be top world-class, but also can be an ordinary architect who's really strong in the project. I think the thing that matters is whether they are willing to cooperate. We cooperate with them fully. We also want them to cooperate with us fully. The architects, they need to recognize the value of this new material. For an architect, to them, it could be a new material. To us, it's an old material. If they want to materialize this idea with this new material, they will face many challenges. When they approach the vendors, they need help. As a top designer, architect, I need to do something, design something really exceptional, something never seen before, something very novel and new. People never done this before. But where do I find this idea? I think the architect needs to find a very cooperative vendor. We show them a very strong will to cooperate with them. And because we don't have any rules, we don't have any reference at all, but we are willing to help them to make this happen. So we show a strong will to cooperate with them. But of course, we have our own team, our own smart structural mechanicians or interior designers, installation experts, very experienced engineers, handicraftsmen, and all the top architects would come to our factories. They just go to the factory workshop. They can sit on the ground of the assembly lines and discuss the processes. When they find you, many vendors would say that I may not be able to do this, but I will put all my people, all my capacity to work with you to create the very first prototype. I can actually stop one production line just to make one new, completely new prototype for the architect. So we show our willingness to cooperate. And also as a manufacturer, in our own R&D, if we see needs from the market, needs from the architects, we treat it as a very good R&D opportunity. For any company to put money into R&D, you want to get return. I think many companies, they're creating stuff behind the closed doors. They're putting a lot of money for the sake of R&D, but the products are useless, are not really accepted by the market. And every year you may have one or two popular products, but actually think about it. One architect brings a product to you, brings a new direction and money to you. It could be considered as a very precise, accurate R&D targets. So we treat it as a wonderful R&D opportunity. So most of the time, we feel that 8 out of 10 architects can actually point our R&D to the right way. Thank you very much.
Excellent, excellent. That's an excellent insight into the way you develop your products, because of course you have the capacity to manufacture your products, to manufacture new products, and listening to your customer, to your clients, is of course key to produce any revenue and to have successful products. Excellent, thank you very much. I'm gonna ask all of you that there has been a question around the pandemic and how it has impacted your business. So Francesco, Mr. Xiong, and Juan Paulo, if you have any views or any strategies that you have used to tackle the pandemic, please let us know.
Well, for Chinese company, I have a few ideas to share with you. First, I feel that China has a pretty good containment of the pandemic. So as a supplier and manufacturers in China, we feel very comfortable. And we do our best to meet the needs of customers outside of China because the manufacturer chain probably is disrupted. But inside China, we feel that our capacity can be fully used. In 2021, all the bamboo companies are running around the clock. And last year, our factories had only 140 staff, but this year we have 200 factory workers. But of course, we never treat it as a long-term thing. It could be a short-term reaction to the market dynamics. That is one point from the supply side, because China has resumed its production much earlier than the world factories. And secondly, we need to think about the future direction of company. Our company produce prefab modules. Even for the furniture, we produce prefab modules. So at the user and consumer side, they don't need a lot of installation labor. In USA, Europe, Middle East, Southeastern Asia, and Latin America, most consumers, they work in the engineering sector and interior and exterior decoration sector. They buy Chinese materials, but they manufacture locally. If there's a part, they will, go back to their countries and they work on the formats, and then they cut it and they install it. But we change their business model. Everything we produce and deliver are prefabbed according to their drawings.
So we just transport those prefabricated materials, be it ceilings, walls, or even building structures. You just need to build building blocks to mount those prefabricated panels together. So we don't need larger amount of workers. For the local agents, they don't need a lot of workers, and this is very efficient. You just need to mount the materials together or to add some joints, connectors. So very cost effective, improve the efficiencies and reduce the requirements of human resources. And also it's very standardized, engineered production from our prefabrication factories. Thank you.
How about Francesco and Juan Paulo? I heard from Juan Paulo that you closed your company during the pandemic.
Yes, during the pandemic, with a new product that no one knew in the market, we had to change our training because no one had an in-person meeting. So we had to use this year to redistribute the plan based on the experience that we have gathered at the beginning. Our trade life started in January this year, but we are very pleased with the results and with the growth and development of the market that we have seen. We see a bright future ahead. Well, in our case, the pandemic barely generated a problem in the chain. Projects were interrupted because we had to stop the works for a while. However, the supply area within the first 1 or 2 months, then it was reactivated in a normal way. The problem that we face today is on the extreme import costs, but this is of course something related to global logistics, and it appears that this will readjust soon. So the major problem are costs, but we trust that everything will go back to normal soon. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So how are we doing for time, Borja? Are you back with
we
us?
have 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes.
Perhaps Juan, if he wants to give his view on that. No, just the question that related to COVID-19, sorry, whether you had any troubles. I couldn't hear.
No, my main trouble it was that I was just finishing the startup of a company and it was closed the market. So it was hard for us. We have to keep the people, paying them without having any sales, but we did it. So we are happy. We are still alive.
Thank you, Juan. Yes, Hector, go ahead with the next one. Perhaps one or two more questions, and then
we can wrap up. Yeah, excellent. I have a question that also another question that can be directed to everyone. So, and is about training in bamboo design, construction, and manufacture. How did you train? How did you train in bamboo design, construction, manufacture, Francesco, Mr. Xiong, and Juan Paulo? How did you train? What was the training that you take to be where you are with your companies?
You mean the training that we received?
Yeah, any training. I think the question is very open on any training. So yeah, I guess you can start with saying how many years you've been in the in that process.
Well, in my case, I have a architectural background in wood construction, and for me, when I entered in this world, I didn't have no idea of this, which is almost 10 years ago, and I just started. I learned a lot of what I know from my partner Isaac, which was had been trained in Colombia, and the training was making things and studying books and e-learning, and actually we are training other people, and in order also to get this. To open new is sort of challenge the fact of training, because we spoke about this with Borja in other occasions, that there is very low, very small specialized handwork here in Spain, and so often we are asked to go build a structure which may be a simple structure but is very far from us. And so we developed this system of helping the customer directly, but we are also interested in training, for example, traditional carpenters, for them to open new ways of work and new material, working with new materials. So it's sort of a circular economy. So we are interested in training people and having specialized handwork, because this is beneficial for everybody. So this is our point of view.
Well, in my case, it was different because I have been involved in the industrial processing all my professional life. So it was just a matter of understanding with machinery suppliers how the machine have to work, and just to set the main parameters of processing speed, hand labor required, electricity, water, area required. So that part, it was easy for me because my previous experience, but the difficult part, it was to understand the raw material, the bamboo. And for understanding the raw material, I was reading a lot about the guadua characteristics, and in Colombia, there are a lot of studies published for the universities. And then I started meeting people involved in the guadua field, in the guadua business, and my training it has been to talk with the people that has long experience on this and reading papers for the guagua. And remember that I'm new in this business. I used to be in the petrochemical industry for 30 years. So I just started 5 years ago. So I just have learned like 0.1% of the total things that I have to learn. I still
Excellent,
in
Juan Paulo.
training.
And I think someone was asking also how that previous knowledge on the petrochemical industry help you with your new endeavors in the bamboo industry.
That was the main part because I participate in the startup and erection of several petrochemical plants. So you learn about motors, electricity, containers, processing, steam generation, and all that stuff. So it is a very good base for setting an industry. So no, I'm deeply grateful with my major in chemical engineering and the companies that I used to work for. So it's a huge base.
And I got a last question. Thank you, Juan Paulo. I got a last question for all of you, Mr. Xiong, Francesco, and Juan Paulo. And I think it's a very inspiring one because we know that we have more than 100 people in this conference today, and there are people that are wanting to do many things with bamboo. And one of the questions is one key question, probably in a few words. What advice would you give to new bamboo entrepreneurs regarding the development of a bamboo industry or their own capacity?
Well, my advice is that just focus in some kind of product that want to develop with bamboo, and then study about the different method processing. And something that it helps me a lot is to buy technology already existing. And the country that has developed all these technologies, China. One thing is to try to develop by their own methods a machinery which is costly and time spending. So just buy the technology from China, find a good supplier, and after that it can start doing some improvements on that. That is my best advice.
How about you, Francesco?
From our European point of view, I think that bamboo potential is so big, as formal and and for its strength, that I may say that every person that can approach to bamboo can find some different uses, and there is a lot of studies and things which are unsolved. One of the biggest is the joints. So I think curiosity is very stimulating, which was for me curiosity, touching material, transforming material, and seeing that depending on the form of the bamboo, it changes completely its characteristics. Let's say bamboo pulp, or like a slat, or a laminated board is so different, all in one material, so different characteristics. So it's I think the material itself, it's very inspiring.
OK， 需要我补充一点吗 ？OK， 我可以补充一点。我的建议
I want to add one point. Everybody recognize bamboo has a promising and wide application future. and fully recognize the bamboo's value. But my personal advice is you should understand your status quo. I've been engaged in this industry for years. I don't have so many peers. Why I still dedicated to bamboo manufacturing industry? Because I believe there's a lot of opportunities ahead of me. I have different thoughts, perspectives comparing to my peers. I believe I can produce unique products, differentiate to make my products in the market more outstanding.
In China, we have several thousand bamboo companies. If I enter this business, how do I compete with them? Of course, I'm less experienced than them, but what do I do to survive? An old Chinese saying that if your physical power is limited, your mind power can be unlimited. In this market, it's like a competition of species. And if you have your value, create value, you can survive the market. So I try to unleash the value from bamboo. If you can deliver more values, unique values, you can survive in this fiercely competitive market. So I think it all boils down to what unique values you can deliver. I'm a very young person. I'm a younger generation entrepreneurs. We are competing with the older guys, legacy guys. Of course, I will never be experienced as them. My company will never be as efficient as theirs. So the only way for me to survive is to find the niche, differentiation, new values, use the materials in places where other people never imagined. Find architects or project owners. They never have the idea to approach. I think there are many owners and architects out there. They have the needs, have the ideas and imaginations, but they don't know that bamboo can realize their ideas. I think currently is a good time. And I focus on design. Design can be perpetual business. Design can be very diversified. We will never catch up with the diversified design needs. I know every company wants to mass produce super easy stuff, stable products, but the markets can be changing all the time. You shouldn't limit yourself to running a factory, working on a regular mass-produced things for life. I think bamboo industry is emerging industry. We need to continue to capitalize on its potential strengths and unique differentiated values. Younger generation can find this place in this way. Thank you.
Excellent. What a wonderful contribution from our speakers. I'd like to thank you all for your views and for your participation. I think just to wrap up this session, value, differentiation, learning the status quo, curiosity, and determination. I think those are four very valuable contributions for you, the people, the participants on this seminar to take away. Value, learning the status quo, curiosity, and determination. And that's coming from all these three experience business people on the bamboo industry. And remember that training, well, this is part of the training that you can do through Inbar. There are other organizations like the World Bamboo Organization. Fedeguado in Colombia also has run some training exercises exercises where I have participated also. So yeah, there are many ways you can get the training in sort of in places, in certified places, in places like Inbar, where the knowledge is being peer reviewed and it's being revised by different experts. So thank you very much, Borja. The floor is yours if you want to close the session.
Hector, yeah, may I have some words, comments?
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, as you has mentioned about training, because our next session is regarding to education and training in the construction sector. So probably I think I heard our panelists regarding to a lot of issues regarding to human resources and also the training that is needed for the bamboo construction sector. So that's why I have some thinkings I would like to share with our participants. I think all we have discussed all pointed to one thing, is that the bamboo construction sector needs specialized professional human resources. And right now, we lack this kind of professionalized resources. Like Juan in his first factory, he met those problems because in Colombia there's no special machinery engineering that is dealing with guadua material. Now, I think Juan himself has become an engineer in guadua himself. And he said it's not difficult because he himself used to be our like wood processing expert. And so it is not it's not difficult for him to understand in bamboo's case, how to adapt the machines for guadua bamboo. So he said it is not difficult. So so I believe also, I think Francesco is also an engineer and an architecture, and his team are all in architecture this type. And Mr. Xiong and his team, I don't know if you have noticed that Mr. Xiong has mentioned that he has introduced professionals from different fields, like structural engineering and like furniture designers, modern furniture designers, and other like material engineering person, and even special like artisans who works with bamboo, like workers, traditional workers who works with bamboo. New modern designers works with traditional workers, which are like very skilled workers. So this time he has bring them all into one team, and they work on one specific product. So this is the key. I believe that professionals and from different fields, they join together to research on the bamboo, especially to research on the properties of the bamboo and how to apply the special properties of bamboo to different scenes, to different contexts, to different utilizations. So this is I think this is very key for the success of the bamboo construction sector, the development of the bamboo sector. So we all say that we need to add values to our bamboo products, and there's many potentials of the bamboo, and how to dig out all those potentials of the bamboo and make it reach to the market, make it profit And I think our panelist today has told the keys to how to say unlock Bamboo's potentials. That is the professionals from different fields, researchers. They came to one team to work on Bamboo. So I believe that hints something to our next session regarding to bamboo construction sector's education. I don't know if you agree with me or not.
Thank you, Jingwei. Thank you so much for introducing the next session, which I was going to just mention. So our next session will be next Tuesday, which will be on the mechanism for capacity building for professionals. So we invite you all to participate in our next session next Tuesday, which we think will be very important. But before we finish, I would like to thank our three panelists today for their fantastic presentations and also for their points. They have unfolded a list of points, and I would like to just mention on 4 points that they all have touched on. I think their bamboo industries are at a different status of development. However, all of them have mentioned this at some point in their presentations. One is the importance of technologies, as Juan mentioned. I think in all the countries, whether in China, whether in Europe, or whether in South America or in Africa, technology is very important. And that also, having the right technology facilitates innovation, which is also one of the points that all of them have mentioned. Innovation is key to find your niche in the market. And the last one is also training. Training is a key point, whether in China, in Europe, or South America, or Africa, also training of professionals to be able to have the workforce necessary to develop the industry and to produce those innovations that we are talking about. So with those points, I would like to close the session today and invite you all to our next seminar next week, and close by thanking again the three panelists, Hector, and also Hector, who has been a great moderator in the panel discussion, and Jingwei for her comments, and of course Francesco, Mr. Xiong, and Don Juan. Thank you all for participating, and thank you all for being part of our seminars. Thank you, and good night.
To you.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Should we take a picture together before we close?
Yeah. Group photo. Don't go.
The photo.
Don't see Hector. I didn't see Hector.
Please turn on your cameras, all of you, so we can take a group photo before we close.
I didn't see Hector. Where is Hector? Okay, I will take the first photo.
Hector, please.
One, two, three. Smile. Yeah. No, page 2. Severin. Javier. Tintin Han. I see you again. Emmanuel. Lick.
Great.
Page 3. Oh, I see someone from Xinzhou.
Hi.
Page 4. Okay.
Question?
Okay.
Is Hector back?
Thank
No.
you. Thank you so much.
we don't have
These
Hector.
documents.
We don't have.
Hi,
Bye,
good
bye.
morning.
Thank you.
Dr. Maycott.
No, Hector
Doc-
said he left early. He had to leave.
So the deadline for the quiz question is 14 December, like 2 weeks after the final session. Okay, and so we still have 2 sessions to go in the coming 2
Okay.
weeks.
Okay,
Yeah.
can I get that PDF in English, the one that was shared last week, Tuesday? The one that is on the Inbar website. I have the link. I saved it elsewhere, but I was trying to find it on the website, on the Inbar website in English, but I was not able to find it. I was wondering
Please
if you have a
send us
copy.
an email. Send us an
Yeah.
email and we will send you.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you.
Alright.
Thank you very
Send
much.
to me.
Let's
Send to me.
close.
Bye.
Send to me.
Bye.
Okay, goodbye. Thank you, Kewei, also for organizing this fantastic webinar.
See you next week.
Bye.
See you next week. I'm going to be chairing
Muchas
next week
gracias por este seminario tan importante.
regarding to human
Muchas gracias.
resources.
Thank you very much for this wonderful center.
Saludos desde Colombia.
Greetings from Colombia.
Francesco, nice to see you again.